In their regular season finale, the Dallas Cowboys traveled to face the Washington Commanders with a lot on the line. The NFC East Division title and the number 2 seed in the NFC Conference. What do you think is the key to victory for the Cowboys in this one?
Yeah, this is really easy. And Richard Sherman, who's the NFL star, retired, who's done it all, including, he's a very bright guy, went to Stanford, won Super Bowls and everything, made the insane comment of the week by suggesting that the Cowboys should rest players at Washington because if you can't beat them with your backups, you don't deserve to go to the play. What?
Just win.
we just got done watching the Eagles lose to Arizona, and in the month of December, we've seen a lot of good teams lose to bad teams.
For sure.
So all the good teams that ever lost to a bad team don't deserve to make the playoffs. If that was the case, nobody makes the playoffs.
Right.
The Cowboys, the simplest key here is you pour every resource you have into this game, this week, this time. That's Tyler Smith with a torn foot.
Right.
If you can play, you play. That's
the
Jonathan.
difference is hosting in the playoffs, which
difference
is a huge deal if you're perfect at home like the Cowboys.
For any team, being at home in the playoffs is good. For this team, they've won 16 in a row at home, and if they get the number 2 seed, as they are scheduled to do, because they're favored by 13.5 over Washington, they'll have their first, as long as they win, 2 games at home. And if somebody along the way upsets the 49ers, they'll have 3 games at home. They are, as they sit right now, a favorite, one of the 2 favorites to go to the NFC Championship game. Why would you even risk forfeiting that by saying, oh, Jonathan Hankins, you can play. We don't need you. Tyron Smith, you can play. We're good without you. Why don't you go right on down the line? Because playing Dak Prescott, Micah Parsons, and CeeDee Lamb and Zach Martin come with risks because it's football. This is like saying, going into the World Series and saying, I've got a really good pitcher. He's our ace. I'm going to save him for Game 7. But if you never get to Game 7, no, pour every resource you have into this thing. And over the course of this week, we're going to see Jonathan Hankins trying to practice. We're at the end of the week going to see if the Cowboys can have Tyler Smith do something more than just limp around. And of course, the Cowboys are chasing other roster members as we speak, and that's all about pouring resources into trying to win too.
Yep. As Mike McCarthy says, expect the unexpected when it comes to Ron Rivera's Commanders. Let's talk about the Cowboys' running game, though. How concerned are you on a scale from 1 to 10?
Shoddy, Brian Schottenheimer says, not concerned.
Yeah.
And he's not trying to say that there aren't issues or flaws. He's trying to say that we have the solutions. We know what's going wrong, and we know how to fix it. I do think continuity in the offensive line is part of this.
Right.
It'd be easy to say if only they had Zeke, and I don't argue against it.
Yeah.
Zeke's been an effective, more than short yardage guy in New England on a terrible offense. He's done some things.
With Ramondre Stevens out, he's really taken over.
Right. If Zeke Elliott could stumble back onto this roster at this very moment, he would help. But has Tony Pollard played poorly? I don't think that's the case.
No.
Is there a lack of explosives? And is that because, Tyler Smith's foot and TJ Bass playing left guard and Terrence Steele has struggled certainly in pass blocking and Zach Martin was hurt and Tyron Smith hurt. I think continuity in the offensive line, best 5, we like to talk about all the time. Give me my best 5 at Washington and beyond, healthy enough, and maybe that's your running game solved. This much is true. As much as this team is now in the Texas offense become explosive and consistent in the passing game, especially when they throw it to CeeDee Lamb. There is going to be a point, maybe not in Washington, but in the playoffs, against teams as good as you. You're gonna need to eat up clock. You're gonna need to make a 3rd and 1, or else you're gonna be in the red zone. And if you do what the Cowboys did, a CeeDee Lamb fumble at the goal line the other day against Detroit, in Miami, a fumble at the goal line. You do those things in the playoffs, you're gonna lose.
Yep. Dallas Cowboys receiver CeeDee Lamb has etched himself into the history books here at the Star Dallas Cowboys headquarters. How would you grade his season so far?
Remember, first of all, after the 49er game, when he kind of pouted, and the head coach Mike McCarthy and Dak Prescott both went to him and said, that doesn't help. If you got an issue, just come to us. Just come to me. We'll work it out. But, he wore his emotion on his sleeve that day. I think he's matured since that day.
Yeah.
Shortly thereafter, he was a little bit misquoted. This is nobody's fault. Remember when after he had a great game and he said, I'm the best receiver in the NFL. But he actually said, I'm one of the best. But it kind of, the words got kind of mumble jumbled. Well, you know what? Maybe he was right the first time. If you look at his numbers and then do the eye test, and again, he might be the best player on the second best team in the NFC and maybe the third best team in football. He's doing all the same things and more that Tyreek Hill is doing in Miami. Totally different kind of player. Yeah. And we've been talking about Tyreek Hill as an MVP candidate.
Yeah.
So Micah Parsons is not going to probably get MVP votes. I don't think he's going to win Defensive Player of the Year, quite possibly. Dak Prescott deserves MVP votes, although that seems like that's Lamar Jackson territory. Don't you agree?
I agree.
Or
Josh Allen if he gets the Bills deep in the playoffs.
Josh Allen, and he's got to win Sunday, put up big numbers, and of course the MVP is decided on the regular season, and then the Bills are scary.
They're so scary
in a good way. The Ravens are scary in a good way.
The Texans are kind of scary in a good way.
They really are. Surprisingly scary. It would be. I think it's a gigantic surprise that the Texans have made this kind of turnaround. But once they get there, they don't know they're not supposed to be there now.
No.
Led by C.J. Stroud and a handful of
looks
rookies.
like he's been there before.
Absolutely does, and handles himself that way.
Yeah.
So there's another leap to be made, but CeeDee Lamb deserves attention in the MVP conversation and is a first-team All-Pro, and that is inarguable.
The Cowboys have their playoff berth. What do you think is their biggest weakness as they eye the postseason?
You know, we talk a lot about the running game, and that's got to be. I think it not only has to be crisp. I think one of the things that's lacking, if you remember Tony Pollard last year, it wasn't just, sure, he can run between the tackles. He proved that, which he did.
Yeah.
It was the explosives.
Right.
20, 30, 40, 60.
Yeah. And those are fun to watch, too, if you're a fan.
Right. And they tilt the field.
Yep.
They tilt the scoreboard, and they're demoralizing for the opponent. It's a quick score on the ground. It's a conservative quick score. The Cowboys haven't had a mountain of those this year. Can you fix that? Well, if you can, do it. And then the penalties, especially pre-snap penalties, that in some cases come as a result. Oh, maybe it's because I'm so intense. Maybe it's because I lack focus. And we've spent a lot of time on Micah Parsons. We've talked a lot to Micah Parsons, and I think the organization might need to talk to him too. It's really fun and funny that you got a podcast and you got social media and you got jokes about officiating and criticisms of this and Taylor Swift and who should be the MVP. Focus. Focus, and maybe we won't jump off sides on a critical play against Detroit. Pre-snap penalties in general. This has, over the course of Mike McCarthy's time here, and this is one of the few negative trends, they are among the penalty leaders all the time. And that won't do in the playoffs either.
Nope. There are a lot of interesting signing rumors when it comes to the Dallas Cowboys. So what are some of the whispers you're hearing?
The Lyle Collins thing is a matter of paperwork. I had somebody tell me on Tuesday he's signing with the Cowboys. So I'm sticking with that. Then he goes on Instagram and posts, I'm home.
Yeah.
And when he says home, this is exclusive for you, by the way, Cowboys SI and the Fish Report. When he says home, he's talking about right there.
Yeah.
He literally owns a house. It's on Lake Louisville. It's right there.
There you go.
So he's an avid fisherman, and this is his home. And so.
Did you say avid or average fisherman?
He would be insulted to hear us say average, so let's go with avid.
You said avid. Okay. I had to clarify that. It sounded like average.
Yeah. So that's coming. There's paperwork to be cleared up. That's the issue there. They had Damian Wilson in here, the linebacker, who was on a Super Bowl Chiefs team and once started here. Now, I'm not trying to be negative, Nelly, when I say, you talk about baggage. This doesn't mean that he doesn't have, that his family doesn't love him. But he's got behavioral baggage. He's got suspensions, he's got arrests, there's guns. There's even the accusation from a girlfriend, ex-girlfriend, that he threatened to kill her. And so one of the issues around here is he past all that? Or do the Cowboys for the next month not care?
Yeah.
They tried him out as of this discussion. They have not signed him. And then there's Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, a lot of whispers about that right now, right?
And right as the Cowboys make a roster shuffle, Deuce Vaughn has been moved to IR, probably conveniently. Not saying he doesn't have a hangnail or whatever, but conveniently, Deuce Vaughn, who is not of use to them right now because Rico Dowdle is going to be healthy, and now with